What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
The mystic village was gone forever, but now Kumara had a home to return to, and in this moment, the most important thing was that she stepped up to keep from losing that as well.
I wanted to give you all a chance at revenge, but you will have to forgive me.
Still, the revenge was done. Her mother would never be revived, but now her dignity was. Kumara smiled. She was satisfied with this. Someone was quietly meditating. A streak of gold ran across his jet-black exoskeleton. A sword-like horn extending out of the center of his forehead shone a ruby red. The crimson compound eyes underneath it never shut. He continually took in information from his surroundings, processing it in his brain. The exoskeleton was modified, more like tinkered with, really, by Rimuru, his master. That master's own cells, along with a healthy dose of magisteel, had helped to reinforce the parts he'd lost. Now they felt familiar to him, like they were always there. They had come to possess unparalleled performance, combining strength beyond diamonds with the flexibility of a living creature. One could call it adamantite or organic magisteel. It had become a suit of natural armor for him, easily legend class. But his strength didn't issue from that exoskeleton. The real essence of his power came from his instincts, insatiable in their pursuit of battle. And now a new prey appeared before him. Everything was going his way. He was the absolute monarch of this labyrinth, Zijin, the insect Kaiser, and among the dungeon's most powerful guardians. And now a thought crossed Zijin's mind. He believed that those who confirmed their desire to be here were qualified to fight him. That was why he sent the summons, his invitation into this dark space. Anyone who reached his floor was lucky indeed, for they could die with the dignity of a human being and the pride of the world's strongest. At the bottom of the stairs leading to floor 80, there existed a room where people could rest. There was no door in the entryway. The room was wide open, in order to show there were no traps inside. And on the far end of it was a flashy, incredibly ornate door, which led to the boss chamber. The dark vortex that Minutes walked into brought him to this very room. It was dimly lit, housing some comfortable chairs, a table with fruit and beverages, and a few other practical necessities. Minutes wasn't the first visitor. A few others had arrived before him. He gave them quick glances, trying to remember if he recognized them at all. Before he could do anything beyond that, a few people who were conversing in their chairs stood up.
Major General Minutes. You're still alive. I am from the 26th Division of the Restructured Armor Corps.
Halt. This labyrinth is no place a buck private or non-commissioned officer could survive for very long. That much I know well enough already.
Minutes raised a hand to stop the man from identifying himself. He knew the names and ranks of all the high-end officers by heart, but the three people before him were completely unfamiliar. That could only mean one thing. Even over-rankers would have their hands full surviving in here. No matter how many gathered together, they'd likely be helpless against the magic-born insect Minutes just encountered. Only a handful of human beings in history had broken through that wall, attaining literally superhuman abilities. Thus, although Minutes didn't know this trio's faces, he could guess who they were.
Yes, sir. You're certainly right. My name is Krishna, ranked 17th among the Imperial Guardians.
Bazin, ranked 35th.
And Reha, ranked 94th.
Ah, so you're with the Imperial Guardians, then? Infiltrated our army to monitor the operation, I assume?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure how wise it is to give me such an honest answer, but very well. Right now, we need to talk about what's past that door.
We were just discussing our possibilities now, sir.
Good, good.
Minutes pressed them more, as if it was only natural his prediction was correct. He wasn't exactly a fan of this unwelcome surveillance in his force, but survival was job one right now. Rank or position didn't matter here, strength did. Instead of questioning why Krishna and his band were here, Minutes decided to concentrate on more fruitful topics of discussion.
So what happened to everybody else?
Well, sir, we were all sent to the floor where the White King was reported to be.
Krishna answered for the trio. Minutes raised an eyebrow, asking him to go on.
There were 96 of us in all. Our commanders were taken away from us, and we were forced to do battle against the King of the Undead. I'm afraid we're the only survivors.
Unbelievable.
Minutes spat.
Our groups were all one-man armies, capable of making sound decisions in battle without direct orders. Even if they weren't quite as talented as you, they were the best the Empire had to offer.
This 100-odd group had been tasked with rescuing the rest of the Imperial forces. Even the rank and filers among them were over a menaces, so they could be prepared for anything that happened down there. The ferocity of Minutes' tone showed just how hard their deaths were to swallow.
He was a fearsome monster king, sir. And the undead knight guarding him was an elite-class sword fighter.
Said Krishna.
Apart from us three, they killed everyone on that floor. If you want to criticize us for not revealing our identities earlier, I don't have any defense for that. But we're talking about an undead dragon, an undead swordmaster, and the king of the dead himself. It's a miracle even we survived, sir.
Bazin interrupted Krishna and Minutes' conversation. His speech was tinged with anger. This whole experience seemed to be a regretful disappointment to him, and it was clear he meant every word he said.
You're being rude to the Major General, Bazan.
But, Raiha.
No, I don't mind. This is a dangerous labyrinth. We need to work together to survive, regardless of rank.
So Minutes offered them his full cooperation. If this trio was all Imperial guardians, he couldn't have asked for better assistance. Now was no time for bickering.
I'd be overjoyed to take the offer, sir.
Krishna knew Major General Minutes of the Armored Division well. That wasn't a surprise, given his position in the Imperial Guardians, and there was no reason for him to turn down the offer. All four of them silently nodded. Whatever happened after they left this labyrinth, they could think about when that time came. That was the common understanding they now had.
So how did you get here, sir?
Krishna asked Minutes.
I had to face off against a swarm of army wasps.
Army wasps.
The quintessential lethal monster. So dangerous that they weren't even well known among the general public, since the army took action so quickly to quash any that were discovered. Any hapless citizen who did come to see one usually lost their life as a result, so the army wasps remained largely off people's radars.
You took on such a dangerous foe by yourself, sir?
I haven't seen any other colleagues since I came in here. In my case, after I defeated the army wasps and the Queen Magicborn who led them, I heard this voice calling me over. And the next thing I knew, I was here.
Ah, I see.
Krishna was deeply impressed by Minutes' casual explanation. If a queen wasp had been transformed into a magic born, its power was beyond all imagination, equivalent to a low-end demon lord, in all likelihood. Taking out such an opponent, along with her entire army of monster insects. It was a clear show of strength, and it did a great deal to relieve the trio's anxieties. Krishna was too nervous to notice until now, but Minutes was wounded all up and down his body, the large hole in his chest providing ample evidence of how fierce the battle was.
Are you all right?
Raiha asked.
You're asking that now?
Minutes laughed.
I had potions with me. I'll get my stamina back once I rest a bit longer. But what route did you guys take to get here?
Minutes still had the initiative here. They were all treating each other as equals for the moment, but the sheer force of personality from him still made Krishna's team follow his lead. Under his guidance, they all shared whatever information they knew with each other. Putting it together, they found that the labyrinth likely had an amorphous, transformable structure. This reality was so different from their prior intelligence that they had virtually no baseline to work with. They were essentially groping their way through the labyrinth's passages, and their future wasn't looking too bright.
What the hell's going on in here anyway? Because we faced off against the boss of floor 60 from the briefing, didn't we? Why didn't the demon Lord Rimuru have us enter this labyrinth from the first floor?
Bazin demanded. It would have taken much more time to navigate this maze then. If he just wanted them to exhaust themselves, Bazin reasoned, that would have been the best way.
Simple.
Minutes replied.
You heard the rumors about this place, I'm sure. If you have the bracelet on in here, you can come back to life if you die. But what if that applied to the monsters as well?
Ah.
Bazin just groaned in reply, Krishna and Raiha bitterly mulling over Minutes' words.
Instead of making us eat up time working our way down, they'd be able to eliminate more of our forces by letting great masses of us in at once?
And once you're in, you can't get out. It's virtually lining us up to be cut down, isn't it?
Minutes nodded.
That was the sort of confidence he had in this labyrinth's strengths in wartime, of course. I had suggested to Lord Calgurio that we should address this, but he replied that we could just occupy whatever space the dead monsters were sent to for revival and kill them again. It seemed reasonable enough at the time, so I had to back down.
It was a bitter pill to swallow, but looking back, that was a crucial error of judgment, one that made the Empire deploy more than 500,000 soldiers. Sending troops right in, one squadron after another, was the most foolish approach they could have taken, and it never would have happened if they hadn't misjudged the Demon Lord Rimuru and the abilities of those who served him.
So were you able to find any other survivors?
Minutes asked the trio.
Well,
that alone told the whole story. As of right now, they could only assume that they were the sole ones left alive.
It's not that I can't believe it, I don't want to believe it.
Said Bazin.
If we ever make it back to the surface alive, we'll have to retreat ASAP.
It'll enrage His Majesty, No doubt, but we're left with no other choice.
Agreed Krishna. Nobody disagreed with that conclusion. With that decided, they had to start addressing the current situation.
By the way, what's going on with this room?
We didn't detect any poison or whatnot in the food and drink here.
Reha told Minutes.
I'm not about to accept charity from the enemy, but it seems clear they meant to extend us a helping hand.
And that door pusher pull, it won't budge a bit, but do you see the numbers on top of it? Before you showed up, we were just talking about how it looked like a countdown to us.
Beyond the door on the other side of the room, there seemed to be a thick, unspeakably evil presence wafting through the cracks. And just as Bazin noted, there was indeed a number above it. It was clearly marking time, and currently it read 200. That likely meant the door would open in just under 3.5 hours. Shockingly, the exact amount of time Minutes thought he needed to regain his full strength. Minutes let out a weary sigh. That couldn't have been by chance.
It looks like the enemy wants us to fight when we're in tip-top shape,
he said.
I don't know if they'll give us a fair fight, exactly, but they want us to heal, at least.
Are they going to make us take the challenge one by one, or a couple of us at once, or what?
Reha wondered aloud.
Either way, they sure must be confident of their own strength,
said Krishna.
Pretty cocky move to make against a major general and the killers of a white king,
added Bazin.
Well, let's take the offer. Kanzis will be here before long, I imagine, and the more time we can buy, the better.
Fair enough,
said Krishna.
And the more forces we have, the better, too. If Lord Kanzis is joining us, maybe we'll find a way out of this labyrinth after all.
Right. And we have 7 keys in our possession so far. I'm sure you have one of these, too, don't you, sir?
Reha mentioned as she took out a medallion with 10 crystals embedded in it. 7 of them were currently glowing. The medallion must have been the key that allowed access to the king of the labyrinth.
Of course. We need to beat the 10 marvels to access their king. By the time we came in, 4 of their keys were already ours.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Sanketh Chelu, Minotaur, I Like Anime, Ray Perez, Chris Guzman, Speed Saber, James Waters, Arijit Das, Quilly Buckner, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Justa Guy, Jason Martin, Misael W. Hernandez, Benjamin Villar, Funky Junkie 22, Jovi, Jason Reyes, Jovan Ray Hadrake, Donald Williams, Moab A, Day of Light, John M, John Charles, Godman Gaming, Akon Engok, Markithian Tidwell, Andre L. Hamilton, Adrian, Sean Sinclair, Kumo, T. Bush, Chang, John L., Tojam, Edgar Fuentes, JV, Dirty Old Hobo, Gonse Direco, Thomas, Edmund, Jay, Christ, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Vethelny, Lunel Scarlett, Khaled, Christian Deshazer, Cal Robs, Divine C. Harris, Destiny Smith, Panda Cats, Aaron Alarcon, Monty Boy 98, D-Man, Divinay, Ruben, Luis Caro, Pedro Robles, Kamal Ebanks, Chris Duncan Jr., Isaac, Shadow Wolf 660, Koala King 93, Devon, RN Bart, Little 95, Coyote de Peza, This Is Not My Username, Mizzle Bizzle, Zephyrus, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, Jaya Keshav, Gary Miles, Dragon Spawn 666, Marvin Emmerich, Alex Gomez, J. Rule, Nate, Big Q, Sayonori, Alfredo Renteria, Lil Tier, Liron Sangkap, Eric Haas, Christopher Mash, Edward Garcia, BFGR, Ilex Y, Rory M. Brassel, Sri Nanduri, Ethan Madison, Louis Strutter, Charles Bailey, Sky T, Diego Ginoza, Mathis Dangle, Nick H, Andre Hamilton, Jason Torres, Sesh, Sergio Aguilar, Martin Ramos, Guy Endsley, Simon Road, Emperor WSA, Mika Espinosa, George Hage, Stabby Cakes, Alex Yamashita, Purple Derpington, Kevin Matthew, Totally Not the Police, Nick Adams, Pratik Bandari, Ara Dare, Raymar Costales. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.